we should have had at this stage, at this moment, Professor Miroslav Popovich. He's a philosopher, he's a professor, he's a great moral authority in Ukraine. He is multilingual. In fact, even before independence, for example, I had him in Geneva in '89 for a great conference there, but he happens to be ill. We are sorry about it, and sorry for him, but it really again happened just the day before yesterday. He started, he thought he would recover. He didn't quite well enough. So we can move on with other speakers, but the fact that he's not here, would allow us actually to have more discussion. Therefore, you still try to stick to your time of 20 minutes or so, and then we'll have more discussion. And at this stage, we'll have, we'll have a man whom you have already heard. And by answering the question that those of us sitting on the stage could not answer, he has passed the test for being a professor. He's not a professor, but he passed a good test, so now he can actually lecture. So really, I'm delighted to give you the chance to share ideas. He is not only a former Minister of Foreign Affairs, and a good one. He's really very much man of the Western civilization, and currently he's a sharp critic of a lot of things that are happening in Ukraine, but I might say also of a lot of things that the Western countries should be doing but are not doing, if I can say that too. So, please.
Thank you very much, Professor Havrlishin, for the honor to be with you here. Although the topic of my remarks is the role of young generation in transformation of Ukraine, I would probably start with a joke about the youth. It happens I was 38 probably, and I was appointed to the so to say right hand of second president of Ukraine in foreign policy issue. I was appointed his foreign policy advisor. And I was standing with two experienced, I would say so, gentlemen, and one of them said to another one, "Look, he is too young." And the answer of the second one was, "Look, of course it's a very big disadvantage, but it disappears very quickly." So, dear colleagues, in order to be effective and be able to act adequately, we really should act quickly. I would say that Euromaidan proved how quickly active citizens, especially young Ukrainians, unite for work for very concrete and very shared purpose. The new generation reacts much faster to everything that is happening around us, and new media, especially social media, play a crucial role in it. I would like just to remember the Facebook community Euromaidan, which rose within a couple of days from 0 to 100 likes, and then 200, 300, etc. I believe that foremost young people are our best warriors at the communication front, and New Ukraine has to use all possible instruments in promoting democratic values. Dear friends, it is always important to have very adequate example in front of your eyes. And I would say that we all, including myself, have this example. I am talking now about the organizer of this event, of this conference, Professor Volodymyr Ogrysko. Because all his life, he is really an example how to gain knowledge, how to transform this knowledge into ideas, and how to realize them. How to think globally, but at the same time act locally. How to help those who really are willing to change their environment. And frankly speaking, I am very proud that for many, many years I had a chance to be next to this personality, really personality with capital letter. Because what Professor Ogrysko has done and is doing now, it's really very remarkable example how we can really do something to promote our values. Dear Bogdan Dmitrovich, I am really very glad to be here. I would like to thank you from the bottom of my heart for your dedication, for your dedicated activities to help the Ukraine to be better. I would like only to wish you many, many decades of well-being, health, activities, and we use, as we use it in Ukrainian to say, многое и благое лето вам. Dear friends, Bogdan Ogrysko Foundation does really a lot to help young Ukrainians to understand better what standards Ukraine should strive for. I can tell you very frankly, I was really surprised when I have heard the exact figure of how many hundreds of Ukrainians have already visited the most successful European countries, but not only for the sightseeing, but to analyze what's going on, to understand how we can do our best to transform this knowledge and ideas into Ukrainian life. And I'm very proud that to some extent, I also was involved in these activities, and I thank you once again, Volodymyr Dmitrovich, for this involvement, because I also do understand that not having this link between people who have already some kind of experience and the young generation, we probably will not be very successful in transforming our country. So I'm absolutely convinced that you, dear friends, are and will be true Ukrainian leaders, what Ukraine is really waiting for. Very unfortunate, but I cannot say that for the time being we have enough true leaders who can bring Ukraine to the prosperous future. Being a diplomat, I of course cannot but to say some words about the situation around Ukraine. Very unfortunate, but it is a fact that we are now facing a very challenging and very unsecure world. And one of the poles of this insecurity is our east-north neighbor. And then we are talking about the planning our future. We should really take into account that probably another couple of decades, this very ice-cold breath from Moscow will be very close to us. Or probably this period will not be so long, and the last empire will cease to exist like some decades ago the Soviet Union did. But in any case, we should, planning our future, should of course think about the worst scenario for Ukraine, and we are now eyewitnessing, unfortunately, one of these worst scenarios according to the Russian foreign policy. In this sense, our future young leaders should already now start to prepare, first of all, to understand, and then to be ready to adequately react on what is going on abroad. To react and to take appropriate decisions on security problems which we are facing now, or what can arise in the nearest future. Our very sad experience with Budapest Memorandum, and I was unfortunately among those who that time said yes to that decision, although was not, of course, in position to change the decision of the Ukraine's leadership. But this sad experience showed without any doubt that Ukraine's national security could not be guaranteed but by the bluntly declarations. In my view, we should be very strong economically, we should establish strong military forces, and we should be part of the collective security space. I do understand that young people do not want to hear advices. It's normal practice. Nevertheless, I would like to say, and I will insist on the necessity for Ukraine to join NATO, because in my view, it is the only instrument which can give us some kind of at least understanding of what security is. I do wish, and I will do my best to pursue young Ukrainians to support the idea of joining NATO. Because we will not only earn the security, but we also will bring the security, being the east outpost of the civilized world. But generally speaking, we should think not only about Ukraine in this new paradigm of the global security, but about the global security as such. Because to my mind, now we are facing the very terrible period of our global development. Look, what is happening now? I would like to stress at least 3 points. First, due to the foreign policy of Russia, the world order, which was set after the World War II, is practically speaking destroyed. Why? First of all, Russia destroyed the trust between it and the Western society. Russia's leadership used to lie publicly, and this is, of course, not acceptable. The main instruments of disarmament were destroyed as well, and this was a real foundation of the security system. And the third, but not the last point, is that the channel of communication were destroyed as well. So now we are in a very awkward position, because probably we will not be in a position to go back. But from my perspective, it is good. Good because we will at least stop repeating the fairy tales about the democratic and peaceful Russia.
You have 3 more minutes.
Sorry?
You have 3 more minutes. You have 3 more minutes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Because I do think that this was really the main mistake of the Western society, which decided that we can transform Russia into democracy. Unfortunately, it is not. Now we are facing, practically speaking, the new Cold War, and are not very far from the outburst of the new huge arms race. Colleagues in the first panel asked us to say truth. So let us say this truth. Let us say that we are on the eve of the very new security developments globally. And I believe that this is one of the main challenges for the Ukrainian new young generation. How to react, what to propose, what to do with Ukraine, and what is the place for future Ukraine in this global security environment. In my view, we will have absolutely new security paradigm in the future. Why? Because we unfortunately live in a very different world. While reading terrible news about the killings of Christians by terrorists in this so-called Islamic State, or information about the same killings made by Russian invaders in Ukraine, I do not believe anymore in declarations about common universal space of culture, common sense, or our common prosperous future. Unfortunately, it is not the case. So in my view, new security paradigm will be split us at least in two subsystems. One which will be based on the transformed NATO, but not only uniting North Atlantic countries, but also some countries like Japan or South Korea, or, for example, Australia, New Zealand, Philippines, etc., etc. And another one, and probably in some decades, China will turn into the opposite leader of this another security subsystem. In this sense, once again, the main problem and main question, another 30 seconds, is where we see Ukraine. In my view, only in this democratic part of the world. In my view, only joining this really new, transformed NATO. And I can inform you that I myself and a number of Ukrainian high-ranking officials in the past have started a civic initiative which is titled Ukraine in NATO. We are already set a number of local branches all around Ukraine, and I will invite you to join this movement with a purpose to have all Ukrainian referendum, probably even at the end of this year, to show that we are unanimous in our willing to be a part of this civilized war. Without these very practical decisions, we will hardly be economically successful. Not being secure, we will not have a chance to be successful if we are talking about our economic development. I am very optimistic. I do understand that we have troubles, we have many problems, but having this kind of audience, I am absolutely convinced that Ukraine has very good and very prosperous future. Only uniting our efforts, or only being really together, we can bring Ukraine as close to the standards we are talking about as possible. And I wish ourselves the best steps on this way. Thank you very much.
Amen.